Hello, welcome to D&KS Legacy Productions. Sound is good, so I can take these off. Thanks for stopping by and joining us once again. This video is going to be about a new system we put together. We put all kinds of systems together. We have a need for a portable running gun system for doing interviews for a project we're starting, and we want to make it as easy and quick as possible to get in and out, and with as little equipment as possible. We specialize in remote systems, and one of the things that we do, I'm here in the studio slash lab now, and one of the things we do is make portable systems. We have a system here in a case based on the ATEM Mini Extreme. This used to be an ATEM Mini Pro in this box, but the Extreme gave us a lot more flexibility. We have SDI coming into this in the box through SDI converters. We have 5 SDI coming and 3 HDMI coming for signals off of computers and whatever. The SDI are for the cameras. So we can hook up 5 cameras to this. Actually, we can hook up 8 altogether. There's 8 inputs to it. It has multiple outputs. And anyway, this is a remote system. All the boxes down there have everything to go in it. We have tripods, all the cables, blah 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 blah. But this system actually is now part of my studio system, and it's already set up and ready to go with that. So in order for convenience, I don't want to use that on the projects, some of the projects that we have coming, because we're getting ready to start on a weekly schedule, and I don't want to have to break this down and put it back together every week. So we're building other things, and as we swing around, that's another system we're building for larger things. That will be an in-studio system, and actually it can go on remote, but that's going to have either the 2ME or the 4ME in it. As you can see, the computer is built on the bottom for the vMix computer. It's not completed yet, but that's coming. But this is the thing I wanted to talk to you about. It is the ATEM Mini Pro that used to be in that box. I put it in another box, and I mounted a monitor so I can have the monitor. The ATEM Mini Pro is in here. All the cables, even well, both cameras aren't in here yet, but one camera is in here. They all fit. I can pack it up. Be ready to go, and I have everything except the tripods. So that system will allow me to do the interviews that we have set up for a project that we're doing at the church, and it allows me to be independent of this system over here, so that I don't have to break down the studio setup. And I have a studio setup, and I will have a remote setup. I will have a remote setup that I can use quickly and easily, and just carry a couple of tripods with me, and everything is in that box. And So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Okay, this is playing around. This is more of a proof of concept and to see how things work. This is a new box. If you've watched the channel before, you've seen this actual device in a different box. I had a box with the I did a video on putting the ATEM Mini Pro into this box, a box similar to this, and I'll show footage of that setup in with this video. But I did a video, and when the ATEM Mini Extreme came out, it has a lot more functions and has a lot more inputs and a lot more functionality, a lot of things that it can do that the ATEM Mini Pro can't do. So I put that in the box. It has 5 SDI inputs and 4 HDMI inputs. You can do super sourcing, and there's a whole bunch of other things that makes that a very powerful setup now. But I did want something else. I still had the ATEM Mini Pro that I could use for smaller projects, and this is a project for interviews. I set this box up for a project I'm going to be doing at my church, where we're going to be interviewing our elders and doing some archiving of the stories of the elders in our church and their life experiences for their families and for the church. So I wanted something that I could go in quickly and efficiently. This box, actually, the way I have it set up, not this, well, here's the camera. This is a different camera from something else. This is, never mind, but this is a different camera. I have 2 smaller cameras that are ideal for this, and they fit in the box. All the cables that I need for this setup, the box with the monitors. I can do the recording with this. I can switch to cameras. Let me show. I can set up the 2 different views for the interviewer. I can have one and multiple cameras, basically. If you've watched this channel before, or you do any kind of video work, you know about what I'm talking about. You have multiple cameras set up, and I can switch between views. And in fact, I'm gonna have to go into the settings in here and do the preview and program setup, so I can see both images on there. This was set up for something different before, so I have to go in with my laptop and set it up. But anyway, I can set it up so that I can have the wide, one camera showing the wide shot of what's going on, and then um, so while the interviewer is having the conversation with the interviewee, I can show a wide shot is showing what they're talking about, and then I can zoom in on the interviewee as they're talking and telling their story. So, and I can switch back and forth for those cameras. And it actually, as you know, the ATEM Mini Pro does 4 cameras. If I want to do a more elaborate setup, I can take more cameras and get more different, more views of what's going on, and do all the switching from here. But this setup was basically so that we can have more. I could do it quickly, efficiently, and all in one box. This isn't as elaborate as the other setup I developed for the ATEM Mini Pro in a box, but this should work out pretty well. And this was sort of a this is sort of a proof of concept to make sure that I could do it and make sure it was going to work out with me. I had all the cables in and the cameras in, and then I had the foam over here to keep everything from moving around. I didn't drill any holes into it. I just left it open so that I can just plug the cables in as I needed them. This wasn't an elaborate setup like the other box, but it will work. And I'll do the recording on. This is this is an M.2 card in here, and I will be using this for recording. I found out that you have to format your disc for use with the Blackmagic, with the ATEM Mini Pro. You have to form it in exFAT. You can't use NTSF, which is the standard for most computers, and a lot of larger hard drives come in. I found out that it will not work with NTSF format, so it wasn't actually the drives that caused the problem. It is how they are formatted. So I had to format this drive in exFAT to get it to work. I discovered that because I was trying different drives with it to get it to work, and the only thing I could get it to work, I normally format my larger drives in NTSF. I don't normally, exFAT is not, there's some features that NTSF, like encrypting and other things, that it allows you to do that exFAT doesn't. exFAT is a very good system format for for drives, for file systems, but it's not as robust as NTSF. So all of my drives are formatted as NTSF, and I was having a problem. I didn't want to go out. I knew they should be fast enough to take the video because I had used them for other things, but I didn't want to go out and have to buy a new drive. So I was testing a whole bunch of drives, and just to verify, I ended up hooking up another USB drive, an older USB drive, just a regular USB thumb drive, to here, and it worked. And theoretically, it should have actually been too slow to work, but it actually worked. So, make a long story short, after a little bit of investigation, I figured out that that drive was formatted as an exFAT drive instead of NTSF, and I formatted this as an exFAT drive instead of NTSF, and then it worked after that. So that seems to be the distinguishing factor of what type of drives will work with this versus the ones that don't work. It has more to do with the formatting of the drive than the speed, because the first drive that I got to work with this was an old USB 2 drive. It was a 64 gig USB 2 Corsair thumb drive, and it worked fine, no drop frames or anything like that. And it was USB 2. It wasn't even USB 3, let alone SATA, M.2, or any other specs that would make you believe it had the speed to take the recording. But it works fine. So it's more the file format than the actual any of those other performance standards for these drives. So this drive works fine, and it records with no problem. And once I change the formatting to exFAT versus NTSF, and I'm not recording in 4K, but the camera that I'm looking at, this camera went off because it's on battery. Let me turn it back on. Okay, yeah, power went off because it was on battery. Okay. Now, okay, that camera is a 4K camera. The monitor's not hooked up, but that camera is at 4K, and it's transmitting to the ATEM Mini Pro at 4K. But the ATEM Mini Pro doesn't record at 4K. It downsamples what's coming into it, but it will take the 4K. It's taking the 4K signal. So that was good to know. I know it's not 4K in here, but if I can send a better signal, I found out the better signal that I send to the camera, even when some of my equipment only did 720, if I sent the 1080 signal to it and it downsized it to 720, it got a better picture than when I sent the 720 picture and it just took the straight 720. So sending more data to it and it downsizing it actually ends up with a little better picture, in my opinion. I don't know, and technically that should be accurate as well. But that camera is sending a 480 signal into the ATEM, and it's being recorded at 1080, but that's downsampling from the 4K, which is good to know that works. And yeah, I'm pleased with that. That's something I wasn't sure it was going to work, but it did. So I'm happy about that. So anyway, this was just a little behind the scenes look of getting set up for some work we're going to do for the church and for my company. This gives me a whole setup in a box ready to go. I can grab a couple of tripods. I have a larger bag, but grab a couple of tripods, this case, not the stand is on, but just the case, an extension cord, cameras in the case, the HDMI cables are already in the case, and I'm ready to go. Have a full recording setup ready to go. So this should work out well. So this was just a look at what another system to make us be able to record. Another look at what we came up in the lab and behind the scenes of how we do things and the systems that we use and come up with to make our life easier and more efficient. And hopefully the ideas will help you make your life easier and more efficient as a creator. So there you go. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Sorry about my finger, but give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll talk to you next time. Have a great day, evening, whatever it is where you are. Have a great life. All right.